Good night. Sweet dreams. That's what my dad would say to me. But sometimes I had trouble falling asleep. Then he would tell me stories about his travels. I want this tradition to live on. So now, let me share my stories with you. The Jeep glides along a coastal highway. I catch the first curve of the rising sun, reddish, already tipping toward a deep orange. The first rays fall almost shyly onto the surface of the Indian Ocean, where they gather into a long glittering cone that tapers all the way from the horizon down to the water's edge. I'm in Madagascar, the fourth largest island in the world. Nearly 600,000 square kilometers, smack in the middle of the tropics. Almost 28 million people and counting. But the real treasure of this place is something scientists call megadiversity. The landmass of Madagascar broke away from Africa and the Indian subcontinent more than 100 million years ago. This isolation has allowed evolution here to more or less do its own thing, and it really went for it. Nowhere else on Earth is there anything quite like the collection of animals and plants you find here. Species that exist on this island and absolutely nowhere else. Madagascar feels like its own world. Maybe even an enchanted one. People call it the eighth continent, and honestly, I get it. I want to see all of this with my own eyes. So I booked a trip into the dry forests of the south, also called the Spiny forests. After an early breakfast, a jeep picked me up, and now we are cruising between the coast and the small wooden villages toward wherever the day is going to take me. Window down, elbow on the frame. The wind is doing something really nice to my shirt sleeve, and the air on my skin feels cool and fresh and good. Turns out I'm the only one on this tour. Just me. I ride shotgun, listening to the radio. The music, these minor key melodies with a real hook to them, is basically the perfect soundtrack for how I'm feeling right now. A little excited, a little wonderstruck, and ready. The guy behind the wheel introduces himself as Mahari. His name means something like strong, powerful, solid. Don't worry about a thing, he says. And I think he's got me. After an hour or two, we leave the pavement behind. We bump along now on dirt tracks, and on both sides of the vehicle, the spiny forest starts to show up. And I mean, wow! The vegetation isn't super dense, so I can actually make out each plant individually. Hardly anything looks familiar. Some of them are like cacti, but several meters tall. Others look kind of shrubby or fern-like. There seem to be thousands of different species, loosely spaced, stretching out in every direction. Between them, the forest floor is visible everywhere. Patches of grassy green, sandy white, and warm ochre. We're crawling along now, barely faster than a walk. Mary taps my shoulder, points out his window. And there they are, just a few 100 meters away. The baobabs, the absolute stars of the spiny forest. These massive, extraordinary trees that have basically become the symbol of Madagascar. And the moment I see them, I understand why. They tower over everything around them. Every other plant suddenly looks like a shrub by comparison. But these trees look nothing like the trees I grew up with. The trunks, and some of these things reach 30 meters tall, are swollen and bulging. So thick they could belong to 2 or 3 trees at once. They go straight up without any branching at all. Then, only at the very top, the crown splits into a handful of sparse limbs, with leaves just at the tips. Lush little leaves, bright green in the sunlight. But compared to all that massive dark brown wood beneath them, they look almost comically small. Honestly, the whole tree kind of looks like a giant radish. Like a giant bonsai, says Maori. And he's absolutely right. That's exactly it. A little while later, he pulls the jeep over. This is where we switch rides, he says. There's a grin on his face. I climb out, stretch my back. It's pretty stiff from all the bumping around. Take a deep breath and look around. A narrow path winds gently through the spiny forest. The sand is the color of terracotta, like the outside of a clay pot, dry and dusty. Ah, the new car, says Mary. And around the bend in the path comes an ox cart, a gray zebu plodding steadily across the red sand. That distinctive hump between its shoulders swaying with each step. On the cart, a young guy in a faded baseball cap who gives Mary a wave like they've done this 100 times. Mary explains this is a charrette, super common in Madagascar. I had actually already spotted a few on the road from the airport. They are used right alongside regular traffic, and where we are headed, Mary says, this thing beats any jeep hands down. So we climb on. The cart is about as simple as it gets. 2 big wooden wheels with metal rims, a rough-cut wooden platform, a low railing of painted boards along the sides and back, covered in these bold, cheerful patterns in green and red, yellow and orange. From where Mary now sits up front with a young driver, 2 long wooden poles stretch forward to the yoke. The zebu resists for just a moment, flicks his tail, makes a low grumble sound, and then moves. And we roll deeper into the forest. The colors of the landscape match the cart almost perfectly. Green leaves popping against red earth, fruits in yellow and gold hanging from the branches of low plants. It's vivid and strange and beautiful all at once. Then, out of the corner of my eye, something moves in a tree. Mary turns to me. Cutters, he says, with a broad sweep of his arm. And then I see them. The most famous animals in Madagascar. They move through the forest on both sides of the cart in loose groups, pointed faces, and those incredible tails striped black and white like a piece of pop art. The way they move is something else, leaping from branch to branch, climbing up, dropping back down, all of it so fluid and easy, it looks like showing off. Katas are lemurs, lemurs are primates, and yes, they live only here. More than 100 species, each one finding its spot in these forests. The word lemur comes from Latin, and it means spirits of the dead. There's something a little eerie about the way they watch us, with those big glowing eyes gliding almost silently through the trees. But then there's one sitting on a thick branch, holding a ripe piece of fruit in both hands, just nibbling away without a care in the world. Nothing ghostly about that guy. He's just really cute. Early afternoon. We stop for a break. Good timing, honestly. The air is completely still and dry as a cracker. My legs from the ankle to the knee are coated in a fine red dust kicked up by the cart's wheels. I'm seriously tempted to pour the rest of my water over my head, but my throat wins the argument. I lean back against the trunk of a tree I couldn't identify if I tried. Like most of the plants out here, I've never seen anything remotely like it. My eyes have basically been in a state of disbelief since we left the Jeep. This is planet Earth, but a version of it I've never had access to before. The heat has settled completely over the dry forest now. It feels like the world has been slid into a preheated oven. Staying in the shade isn't so much a choice as a survival strategy. The smallest movement feels like a big commitment. Not far from me, a gray-brown lizard is stretched out on a rock in the full sun, completely still. Mehari notices me looking at it. He comes over, crouches next to me, and starts explaining. It's not actually a lizard, he says. Technically, it's a species of iguana, found only here. I nod. I've been hearing that a lot today. Then Mary stands and very quietly moves around behind the animal, and then, fast, I mean really fast, faster than I could follow, he lunges. A second later, he's holding the thing carefully in his palm, walking back toward me. And that's when I see it, right in the middle of its head. A third eye. Not a marking, not a trick of the light, an actual, real, dark little eye, sitting right there in the center of its forehead. My jaw just drops. Mary laughs, this quiet, pleased laugh, and sets the animal back down. It disappears into the brush in about half a second. He holds out his hand and pulls me to my feet. Time to keep moving. So we do. Hour after hour, the heat slowly easing, the light going gold. The forest doing its endlessly strange and beautiful thing all around us. Until suddenly, almost like a magic trick, we're back at the Jeep. I genuinely have no idea how Mary pulled that off. We take the same coastal road back, but now it's evening. The sun is going down, a reddish-orange half-circle balanced right where the sea meets the sky. Same sun as this morning, totally different feeling. It's getting darker now, gradually, like someone with a very steady hand on a dimmer switch. Mary drives with one hand on the wheel, chin resting on the other, elbow out the window. He really did take care of me, every single moment of this day. He even caught me an iguana. We leave the radio off. Neither of us says anything. Just the engine, the tires, the ocean coming in against the shore. After everything I've seen today, my head grows heavy. It finds my shoulder on its own. Lemurs, baobabs, a three-eyed iguana, the red sand, the painted cart, the zebu and his sway. I know I'll never forget this day. My eyes start to close. Mary says something, soft and low, that I can rest, that he'll keep watch. I believe him, and I let go. Still there, though. Somewhere between the hum of the engine and whatever waits on the other side of sleep. I let the day come back to me, not trying to hold onto it, just letting it drift through. And it does. I'm back in the spiny forest, the red sand bright beneath the cart wheels, the painted boards catching the light, green and yellow and orange, cheerful against all that dry, ancient landscape. The zebu swaying forward without any particular urgency, like he's got a point to make about the value of taking your time. And he does. The baobabs stand enormous against the sky. Those impossible trunks, swollen and smooth, rising straight up like something from a dream someone else had a very long time ago. And at the top, those few small leaves, bright green, almost delicate, like a little crown on something that needs no crown at all. I can still feel the heat, the red dust on my legs, the tree trunk at my back. And then the lemurs, appearing out of nowhere in the branches above the cart. Those wide glowing eyes, those tails, striped like they were painted by hand, moving through the forest so lightly, so easily, like the whole world was built exactly for them, which I suppose it was. And somewhere in the middle of all that, a small creature on a branch, holding a piece of fruit in both hands, entirely unbothered by the strangeness and beauty of the day. That one I'll carry for a while. Slowly, the memories begin to soften at their edges. The forest dims. The baobabs grow quieter, darker, until they are just shapes against the night. Patient and enormous and impossibly old. The ocean finds me again. That long, steady sound in and out, like the island breathing. My body sinks a little deeper. The third eye of the iguana glimmers once, gently from very far away. And then, just the dark and the waves and Madagascar, vast and dreaming around me. And gently, quietly, the day releases me into a soft, warm sleep.